Hey everyone, welcome back to the Traducer Bros. Joseph back at it again with yet another book review. It is time to take a little break from horror for a while and start talking about some science fiction books. So, this is one of my favorite novels since when I was a young kid, and have grown to appreciate this book more and more and more. Today, we're going to be talking about Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. Oh boy, where do we start with this one? I think that it would be a big mistake not to address the elephant in the room. There's some uncomfortable stuff going on with our author here. If I don't bring that up first and foremost at the beginning of the video, I'm going to get ripped to shreds. It's just going to happen. So I might as well talk about it. Orson Scott Card has gotten some criticism for having very, very strong anti-LGBTQ opinions, and he's been vocal about it. He's not shy about it. So that is going to make or break a lot of people's interest in pursuing reading any of his work. It's kind of hard to talk about because that opens up a whole conversation of separating the art from the artist. I don't know where that line is for you. If you decide you're not going to listen to R. Kelly songs or whatever because of the stuff that he was doing, then that's your line. You have your place to decide in your own life where that line is. You don't want to support a certain business or a certain artist because of terrible things that they're associated with. That's on you. Now, if you can go, well, I'm gonna watch a movie and the director's been found out to have done some pretty horrible stuff, and you go, that doesn't matter. I'm gonna appreciate the piece of art for what it is. That I've heard that argument also. So I don't know where that line is for anybody else. For me, I think that I can separate the two and I can go, I'm going to enjoy Mr. Card's work for what it is and not necessarily implant my personal feelings about who he is as a person. Because from what I found out, I don't really like this guy. I don't exactly remember how I have this specific copy. I don't remember if I bought it from a bookstore, if it was gifted to me, if it was a used bookstore. I'm probably not going to be purchasing anything that's going to go to his pocket. If he makes money based off of my purchase of his stuff, I'm not really going to jibe with that. That's my own personal thing. I think I'm okay with somebody renting it from the library or it being gifted them or buying it from a used bookstore because those proceeds don't go to Mr. Card himself. This is complicated. You can tell that I'm not comfortable having this part of the conversation. So we'll go ahead and skip ahead. But again, you're going to find yourself wherever that line is for yourself. So that's not on me. And don't give me too much of a hard time for talking about how great I think this book is, even though I know the author is a bit of a piece of crap. The basic plot of the story is Andrew Wiggin, our protagonist, is recruited into a battle school at a very, very young age. If I remember correctly, Andrew is 6 years old at the beginning of this story. So he's being recruited at a super young age. They've monitored him and found out that this kid is an absolute genius, and they're going to groom him to be this tactician to fight aliens because there's been a couple of attempts at Earth, and they call them the buggers. So we've really tried to, as humanity, prepare for an assault on the buggers or a defense against the next invasion of the buggers, whatever it might be. So that's kind of the concept behind this. Is Andrew isn't the only one. There's a bunch of young recruits into this battle school that they're trying to groom to be great military commanders because we are going to need them. That is the concept here. Now, it does get a little bit more complicated as it goes on. You find out that he isn't the first one in his family that was considered for this. So he's got an older brother and an older sister. The older brother, Peter, is probably going to be a psychopath. And you see that pretty early on. There's some dark stuff associated with Peter. There's straight up lines where he tells the sister and Andrew himself that he's gonna kill Andrew, and it's gonna happen at the moment they least likely think it's gonna happen. Whenever their guard is down, he's gonna do it, and it's gonna be in some way where they can't even trace it to him, but he's gonna do it. And it's when they bring that scene up, I was like, holy crap, this guy's a fucking psycho, right? Valentine is the next in line, and they considered her, but they found out that she had too much sympathy and that wasn't going to work for a military commander, right? So, however much a genius she is, and she is, you find that out pretty quick in the like second half of the novel. You go, oh man, like she's actually a legit genius as well. So then they have Andrew, and he gets taken away. And through the test of this battle school, they isolate him. And he has trials and tribulations, not just trying to be really good at battle school, but he figures out that the antagonist for him is not just the other kids in the school, because they resent him a little bit for being so brilliant so young and making them all look bad, because he picks up on these things pretty fast, and he's very good at it. And the school itself, the people at the school running the place, isolate him on purpose, and they challenge him not just with the tests and learning the stuff in the school and the battle games. They want to see, they want to mold him and make him like look at the other people in the school differently, and uh, see them almost as tools in a way, not just that they need to be able to be led, but that they're expendable. So one of the most interesting aspects of this story is the battle school itself. They definitely let you see kind of the other students, and there's a lot of fun stuff there where there's rivalries that develop, there's friendships that develop, and I really liked all of that. But the kind of big point of this battle school is the game itself. So they get to a point where they're in a they're in like a space station, right? And it's got like a ring, there's rings around it, and they're spinning, and that therefore makes it feel like there's gravity in this place. But it's kind of, this station is just kind of out there, right? So the middle of this thing doesn't have any gravity in it, and this is where they do these games. And they'll have one team on one end with an opening, and vice versa on the other side. And these things, they call them stars. They're just kind of places for you to be able to latch onto or hide behind or create traps or whatever it is. And they're wearing these suits. There's this gun that will, if it's shot at one of the other players, if they get shot on, say, the leg, and their leg's bent, it'll just freeze that way. And if they're shot in the chest, it freezes their whole body. It's like, it's very complicated, and it's just fun to sort of imagine these kids bouncing off of the walls of the thing, and developing these tactics. And Andrew, it's really explained through his perspective how good he is at this, and like how he decides. The big thing is he gets the rest of his team to realize, not to look at the team forward, but down. That's like a big thing in this, is he figures out that it's a smaller target if they're aiming downwards. There is no up, down, left, right. They're in there's no gravity there, so there's, you can orient the place however you want. So he gets everybody on board with that concept, and all of a sudden they're shooting in between their legs, and and going as though gravity is where the door is. So they're coming down at the enemy as opposed to moving forward towards them. So it's kind of a weird concept to conceptualize yourself, but Card has an easy way of explaining it to you where you get it. And I really like that. So all of the battle stuff was pretty fun. It did get a little bit tedious towards the end of the battle scenes, where you're like, okay, is that all this book is? Of course it isn't. But I started to feel that, and then right when I started to feel that is when it switches. And then the big thing is there's this simulation at the end, and that's kind of his graduation test. So we're going to see, hey, are you the best commander here? Can you pass the test? Set the parameters for him, and he has to do this huge test. That's pretty much all I'm comfortable saying without ruining the whole novel for you. So if you don't care about spoilers, I might as well go ahead and tell you. But I think that if that's at all interesting, read the book. It is a 4 out of 5 stars. It's not difficult to read. Some of the concepts are a little bit dark, and some of the stuff is really adult. The violence in here is kind of crazy, and you don't expect it because it's a bunch of 6-year-olds at school. Of course, they age throughout the thing, but still. There's a subplot with Andrew's siblings where they decide to get on social media and develop political activists through the internet. It's crazy because they mention that even their parents fall for it. You almost get the vibe that he saw a little bit what modern life is today. And that sounds crazy, and you go, "Oh, a lot of science fiction people do that." That's kind of the point. Is you're going, "Oh," you sit there and imagine like a piece of technology or a little bit of what the political situation might be, right? They have they're like iPads. It's called a desk, and it's like a tablet or like your phone, and you're going everywhere with it. It can fit in your pocket. It's very portable, and it's crazy how close he got it. He got it so close to what it was, and I was like, "Oh my god, are they walking around with like iPhones or something?" Like, and it's just their portable PDA thing that they're walking around with. And you go, "How did he came up with this in 1985?" That's pretty crazy to get it that close to where people are talking to each other, sending messages. It's wireless. The other thing is the subplot with Valentine and Peter, how they develop that those characters, their characters they're playing, their political characters, and it's almost like he almost like guessed that that's how politics would work now. How you get someone to decide in a political belief was through people posting things and giving their opinion on stuff. This is very much like social media, and it's crazy how close it is. How uh, they would develop conversations and people could chime in on it, and you go, "Man, this is it really is today." And I think that's kind of like my favorite part of this was how some of that stuff is so close. Seeing your enemy as yourself as well and empathizing with them. And there's some really cool stuff at the end with your revelation about the buggers. If we're into the spoiler part of this, basically the twist of this is that you find out Andrew wasn't doing a simulation. These were actual orders. He wins the simulation. He wins the test. He passes the test. They applaud him for doing this, and it was like this big move where he sacrificed a lot of his pieces or whatever. And then you find out that it wasn't fake. He was giving orders to actual starships out there, and they were attacking the bugger homeworld. And he obliterated the planet. So, yeah, that's a lot to take in as a small child. And this is after he's developing a sort of empathy towards them, where he's kind of understanding, like, well, they aren't attacking us. They gave up. Do we need to commit xenocide? And, it doesn't go well for him. He gets fucked up about it. So you find out that the buggers, the way they communicate with each other is it's a hive mind. So there's like one intelligent thinking thing, and everything else is drones. So they didn't understand about humanity that we are all like that, but we're our own thing. We are our own thinking, intelligent thing. So when they attacked us the first time, they were just looking for a place to stay, not thinking that they were killing a bunch of individual thinking things. They thought it was a portion of the buggers thought that we were like them. So it wasn't a big deal that they were carving out a little spot of Earth for their own. Um, and then when she realizes that they are thinking things, she pulls back, and then we decide to attack them at the end. Andrew decides at the end he finds this queen egg, and he's felt the guilt of killing an entire race of beings, and decides at the end, hey, let's bring them back. They feel bad about this. They understand what we are now. Let's make amends for this terrible act that I've done. That's pretty much it. So it ends on that note of a little bit of hope. Andrew's been through hell, and he's just trying to heal from some trauma. So it's a great book, you guys. Again, this is one of those things. I would try to find a used copy, find something at the library. I think people should read it, but again, there's that bad taste in the mouth from the author, right? I directly went from finishing this, and as soon as I finished it, I had a copy of the follow-up novel to this, and I read like, I don't know, like a third of it. So, like, I loved it, and I want to continue to see what happens. This is so far a fun series. I hear it falls off really, really bad. A couple of books in, you go, there's the ideas just get so strange and so out there, and I don't know if some of Card's political beliefs start coming in. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go that deep. I know for sure I like the first and second novels a lot. So your next little book discussion or whatever this is, review, is probably going to be on the follow up to this. It's called Speaker for the Dead, and so far it's been really great. But anyways, I think I'm going to get out of here, you guys. We're going to bring you Rocky 4 at some point, and we're still sitting on Jurassic Park. I'm waiting for the guys to get finished. I think they're just about done with the book, and we're gonna fucking knock this out. So, but anyway, on that note, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you so much.